Look, for the last 2 weeks, I have totally messed up the introduction to this show. Am I right or am I wrong? It's been pretty bad.
It hasn't been great.
Yeah. So everybody take a deep breath, including me, and let's hope that I can get through this introduction today without totally messing it up and making a fool out of myself for 3 weeks in a row. The chances are not good. I'm just going to say it right now. The chances are not good. All right, guys, here we go. Deep breath. That was a deep exhale instead of a deep breath in. Same thing, I guess. All right, here we go. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. We've got a lot to talk about. We're coming off a 3-hour slate of AEW Dynamite and AEW Collision last week, as well as Fairway to Hell on Saturday night. We're going to be talking a little bit about that event a little bit later on in the show. But let's get started with the show. This is Kelson.
Hey everybody, this is Chris, aka Time for Wrestling, aka El Nacho Grande, inviting you all to join our Discord, especially for the fun live chats on every Wednesday with AEW Dynamite. We're in there for Collision on Saturdays as well. It's a great time. So much good stuff on the Discord. We hope to see you there.
Hey, Chris, don't forget, we're also there for AEW pay-per-views.
That is a very good thing. I was going to totally forget that. Thank you for reminding me.
Well, you took a little bit too many bumps on the head, I guess. We'll forgive you. Well, let's move on.
Bonjour, hello everybody from Montreal. This is your girl Val. So, Stephanie Vacker's ex-boyfriend has been sentenced to 12 years and 8 months for attempted murder on Stephanie.
Hey, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. This is Jess. Thekla, on her feud with Stardom President Taro Okada, said, "When death threats started coming in and everyone was shouting, 'Hey, call the police, she should be deported,' and people were even spitting at the venue, I thought to myself, wow, this is a huge success."
You called her Thekla.
It's Tekla.
It's Tekla. Hard T, no H. My gosh. You want her to come over here and kick everybody's ass? Actually, call her Thekla from now on, because that would be great for our ratings.
I was going to say, is this a trick question?
There you go, yeah. And this is Kelson again, obviously. We have a friend on Instagram, Spanish Wrestling Guy. That is at Spanish Wrestling Guy, one word. With Stardom prepared to be participating at Forbidden Door, he's presented a small guide to let you catch up on Stardom since All-Star Grand Queendom, which has been just a little over a month ago, I think. I think it's been a little over a month. But anyway, go on Instagram, check it out. He puts Stardom content up weekly and with kind of like these guides and a bunch of other stuff that's gone up too. He's really good, very entertaining creator, reactor. Just give him a shot. He's really good and a good friend. All right, so let's move on with the actual show. And the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I alluded to earlier. How many of you guys actually, I'm just curious, how many of you guys actually got to see AEW, did I almost say AEW?
AEW Fairway to Hell.
AEW Fairway to Hell. Hey, that wasn't part of the introduction, so I made it through the introduction. Yay me. God almighty. One of these days. I'm going to master the English language. I am. Anyway, how many of you guys saw AEW Fairway to Hell? I did.
I did.
Yeah, well, what did you think? You know what? The reason why I messed up calling it AEW Fairway to Hell is because I really wanted to call it AEW Battle of the Belts 8. I think it's 8. right? Well, did you
8,
notice
9,
the
27. One of them.
did you think that the similarities between Fairway to Hell and Battle of the Belts, you think it's fair to compare the two?
I think a little bit. The one difference is, I mean, we had an actual title change. We had a world title match that was freaking crazy. A lot of those Battle of the Belts, it was TNT, TBS, and maybe a tag title match. Sometimes it was ROH titles, and there was like, and you just knew a belt was never changing hands.
Well, there were a few belts that did change hands on Battle of the Belts, but not that many. I mean,
Yeah,
I think there was two.
this
I
felt like they took what worked from Battle of the Belts, figured out what didn't, and did a much better show. And I don't, I don't want this every week, but every 2 months or so, I would love a
well,
3 hour Dynamite
they
Collision and 1 hour Saturday show.
Chris, they basically said that they're doing it once a year.
Ah, okay, well that's fine.
It's the plan is for Fairway to Hell to be a special episode. Sorry, MK, I had to mute your whining dog. It's supposed to be a special episode following a charity golf event called Fairway to Heaven.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's nice.
But I don't think they did that this year. It's just what's in the plans, according to what Tony Khan said. This is what he wants to do. Now, whether he actually pulls it off or not, that's, neither here nor there. Okay?
I think this is another one of those where I don't really want to see it yearly just for the obligation, but for it to be something special, and maybe even, I guess, in the concept of this event, somewhere else, just showcasing a really cool venue.
Yeah. So going back into even a little bit more in depth, what did you guys think of the setup?
I
The
loved
setup
it. I
was
thought it
great. I loved it. I love the camera angles. I love the long entrances of like Darby and Jack and everybody who was in it. The entrance, the camera, it was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, there were some very cool aesthetics, and I mean, I loved in the main event how they used the sand traps. Like that was great. The entrance was really unique because it was you had them kind of come out and then that turn where they came through the crowd and everything.
Yeah, and we got people
Yeah,
interacting with the fans.
yeah, it was a really neat venue. I really like when AEW goes to these kind of smaller, unique places because you get those aesthetics that you wouldn't from just regular old arenas.
The
One of the
openness of it
things.
felt like
Yeah, go ahead, Tunchi. I'm sorry.
the openness felt like COVID era AEW, especially
Yeah.
with the fans in the front row. No barricade, it was just chains. I thought that was really cool.
I think the chains were kind of meant to resemble the setup of a golf course.
Yeah,
Between the
yeah,
fans and the course.
100%.
And I don't know about you guys, but I appreciated that they only spilled out into the golf course, so to speak, only during the main event. The rest was all inside the ring, basically. Well, the normal way you would do it. So it did spill outside of the ring some, but not like way out, like on the main event.
Not like it would into the crowd in a regular arena.
Yeah, it didn't go into the crowd, but it went over into, the greens and the bunkers, which was kind of wild. Now, as far as the setup, I understand that the show ticket prices were a lot cheaper than normal because I think that had a lot to do with many of the fans being really far away from the ring. That was the only drawback that I saw is like it didn't matter on TV, but if you were at the venue, you were probably way in some cases you may not even be able to would not have even been able to have seen the ring because of the bunkers and the elevations in the golf course part. I may be wrong there, but how do you would that be something that you would want to attend yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
me too. I like it. I mean, this is the only variation we've seen, but like we've had through Stadium Stampede, we've had wrestling on a football field. Now we've had wrestling on a golf course. Can I have wrestling on a hockey rink, please?
On a hockey rink?
On a hockey rink.
Yeah. Maybe. Marcus, MK, were you the one that announced the women's match just now?
Yes,
Go ahead and fill us in.
it just popped up on my feed. So it's going to be Thekla and the girls, whichever name you want to call that group, versus Statlander and the Brawling Birds. So that'll be a fun, hard hitting match.
That's funny. I was thinking they would go with Triangle of Madness versus Hater, Statlander, and Sheeta. So really close.
Yeah, I mean, since we're talking about it, we might as well just talk about this match. I obviously don't have a graphic prepared for this. So, yeah, it does seem like a pretty interesting match. I don't know what they're. It just, I guess I'm having a little bit of a problem with the way that the women's division is being booked right now, because there just doesn't seem to be any real direction. I don't know if Tony Khan has already got Double or Nothing planned out, and it hinges maybe on the Owen and whatnot, which we're going to talk about pretty much next. But it just doesn't seem like there's been any meaningful matches in the women's division in AEW in a few weeks now. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Maybe it's
Well,
just
there's a. Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
go.
Oh, thank you. I was going to say just maybe this is just a coincidence, but this always seems to happen when Tony Storm is gone for a long period of time. Like things eventually wind up like circling into this sort of situation. I'm like, is Tony really that big of a linchpin to the division that everything sort of grinds to a halt when she's not here?
Well, apparently so. I saw Valerie and Chris. You were going to say something, so let's go to Valerie.
Yeah, well, Tony is one part. Mercedes not here is another part. There's a couple of others that are not there. And we're gonna talk about it maybe in a few minutes about the Owen and things like that. So I'm guessing
Right.
that Mercedes coming back really, really soon, if not at Double or Nothing, probably in the Owen Hart. There's probably maybe another one or two that is coming back really, really soon. So who knows? But yeah,
we'll be
I
talking about
agree.
that. We'll be talking about that in the next segment, Valerie.
Yes.
Chris, what did you have to offer?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those. It is kind of in a weird holding pattern. Like the main story right now is this stuff with Statlander and Cheetah, and which I mean, I think we all kind of feel like is leading to a heel turn. I know a lot of people think Cheetah. Some have said Statlander, but I think really that's your main story, other than what Willow's doing, which is just beating anyone who's coming back, which has kind of fed into the Cheetah Statlander story. It's a weird thing where the title is just Tekla has it. She's a great champion. She's had great matches. She's very entertaining, but she's not the focus of the division.
Right.
And I think, yeah, it just doesn't really have a focus. I think that will change with the Owen Hart tournament coming up, and I think he has a clear plan for All In, but right now it's in that, they're just kind of doing whatever.
All right. Does anybody else have any opinions about this women's match?
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I think it's especially, I wouldn't say concerning, but considering the following pay-per-view after Double or Nothing is Forbidden Door. Where does that leave that? Because 4-ways usually kind of set up the next one. And so, where does that leave Forbidden Door?
Yeah, in our chat, Marcus the Entertainer said the women's division is on a carousel because there aren't enough challengers for the individual championships. I agree and disagree with you there, Marcus. I think there are enough challengers. I just don't think that they have enough challengers established in storylines yet, and that's where the holding pattern is coming. Because the thing that's been going on between Sheeta and Statlander has been going on for several weeks now. And again, we're going to be talking about the Owen Hart Foundation Cup brackets next. So I think you're going to see some stories built there. To one point, though, I'm one of the people that have thought that Chris Statlander is the one that's going to turn heel. And it's going to be kind of a swerve because I think a lot of more people are thinking that Hikaru Shida is going to turn heel. And I'm not saying that Hikaru Shida is going to be this babyface. She's definitely got more of a edge to her now. But I do think that Chris Statlander is the one that's going to be turning true heel. Tomorrow night during this match, I fully expect Shida to be out there. And I do expect for Shida to accidentally do something to get either in Chris Statlander's way or even cost Chris Statlander the match. And I think that's going to be the precursor to Chris Statlander hauling off and slapping Shida across the face, theoretically or figuratively. And that's it. So let's actually move on. I don't know, unless anybody else have anything to say about this match or anything about what I just said. All right, so then we're going to move on to the to talk about. Well, I can't find my. There it is. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite and AEW Dynamite preview. Where is this originating from? Does anybody remember? I mean, it's going to be on the next graphic, but I don't remember where it's coming from. It's coming from your TV or HBO Max, My AEW, or TBS. There you go. That's where it's coming from. But there are some matches on here that are very interesting. But before we get to the matches, let's go ahead and talk about the Owen Hart men's and women's tournament brackets.
They're in Asheville, North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina. Okay. Let's start with the men's. Looking at this graphic, it looks like there's going to be 8 participants. Maybe there's more. Maybe this graphic is just like a placeholder. But you guys kind of agree that Will Ospreay is going to be in this tournament?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is something that I was wondering about. Would you rather see Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley face off in this tournament, or would you rather see the mentor and the student, the mentor being Jon Moxley, the student being Will Ospreay? I mean, at least that's what the current storyline looks like. Would you like them to see them face off for the Continental Championship in a non-Owen Hart match?
No, I want it in the Owen Hart tournament.
Me too.
I think if he beats Moxley in the finals, that can be his kind of like, you know what, I paid him back for what he did to me, and I also showed, you know what, he knows what he's talking about, and it can be kind of that, okay, we're good, mutual respect.
I agree. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, now, so they did say that the brackets are going to be announced. That doesn't mean that they're going to say everybody in the brackets. Do you expect maybe a wild card to be in here that they hold back until the day of the match? Maybe a surprise return?
It's been pretty traditional for them to have one wild card in each division, so I expect that to continue.
All right, we'll say that there is a wild card. Anybody have any thoughts on who the wild card would be? I could think of one name that I think that pretty much everybody would think of.
Switchblade.
That's the name that I was thinking that everybody would think of. Valerie, you're so smart.
And I absolutely don't want to see him in this tournament. I want to see him back, but this tournament has just been traditionally bad news for him. He either loses or he gets hurt.
Yeah.
I agree. For Jay White to come back, I would want him to win something big. And the way they're gearing up with the Bang Bang Gang and the Death Riders, I think it's going to go in the direction of him facing Moxley for the Continental Championship. It'll kind of get the wheels turning, and then, maybe he goes after the World Heavyweight title after All In.
Well, the thing is like we've been talking about this tournament for a while now on this podcast, and the general consensus is that this is Will Ospreay's tournament to win.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
So
yeah, for sure.
Does it really matter who all the rest of the people in this tournament are? Because according to what, our belief, and I can tell you, I've seen the same belief in the AEW Fan Hub subreddit, is that Will Ospreay is going to win the men's tournament and everybody else is just there for show, kind of. It's going to be great match after great match, but in the end, it's Will Ospreay's tournament.
That's true. I mean, AEW has proven, as of late, that you don't need necessarily to win a match to come out looking great. So we could have all sorts of awesome people, and they don't really need to be for show. They can arguably get just as much out of it as the winner.
Yeah, well, that's my thing, Jess, with saying what I just said, and I agree with you as well. Why not Jay White on the opposite side going into finals? He makes it to the finals against Will Ospreay, and he gets beat, but it's still a good showing. And that's the way it goes. I think that's a good idea. Who else? Who do you guys think will be in the Owen Hart on the men's side?
I'm gonna say
I would say
Claudio
Speedball.
Speedball, yeah. Kevin Knight.
Okada.
I like Bandito.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
but if Bandito's in there, why not Swerve?
Marcus in the chat says men's wild card, Kyle Fletcher.
I did think about that.
Ooh.
How long was Swerve out with his? Because I think it was a similar injury, meniscus.
Yeah.
Swerve was out 2 pay-per-views.
Swerve wasn't out that long, really. I mean, when you think about it, he's just amazing. Another person that looks ready to come back, Brian Cage. I don't know if he's right for the Owen Hart, but he could definitely get in there. Look,
I think about I think about last year. The wild card lost in the first round.
Yeah.
I will note that, and until we get a definite answer that his career is over, every time there's a potential wild card, I will always hope it's going to be Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Adam Cole.
That's why that's why I'm thinking. I really, really, really want to see Adam Cole come back. But if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. But he needs to be in AEW in some capacity. He's just too good not to be. If he can get cleared, to travel, I think you'll see it.
Someone from the Death Riders, someone from the Don Callis family. I think each faction needs some sort of representation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I said Claudio for sure. I think he'll be in. Him or Pac.
Pac.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody mispronounces Pac. Poor Pac.
Hulk.
It's Pac. But anyway, yeah, so the thing about this tournament to me, if it is an 8-man tournament, somebody's going to get left out. It's just plain and simple. Somebody's going to get left out. The other thing that kind of plays into this is, Chris, you would know this. When does the G2 climax start?
Oh, the G1 climax doesn't
G1,
start until
G1,
July.
Well,
Yeah.
that's probably going to run into this, because if it stays like it did last year, one of the misconceptions is that the winner of the Owen Hart always faces or always appears in a match for the World Championship. That is not the case. That actually just recently started. But because the first two, I believe it was the first two Owen Harts, the winner just got a trophy and, kiss on the forehead and said, "Thank you for playing. We'll see you next year," kind of thing. Nothing happened. They didn't get anything for it.
They got a belt.
They got a belt, but it's, whatever. Technically, Mercedes Moné still has a belt.
Yeah, it's just been the last 2 years that the winner gets a title match at All In.
Right. Yeah, but anyway, what I'm saying is that the G1 climax, whoever's in the G1 climax, sponsored by GM, by the way. Not really. If there are AEW wrestlers which are supposed to be in the G1 climax, they're probably not going to be in the Owen Hart, because they are going to collide more than likely.
Takeshita won last year. You think he'll throw his hat in again this year?
Why not?
It makes sense to me, but I think Chris and I had a discussion about this several weeks ago, and you said not necessarily, right?
Yeah, there have been past champions that, didn't compete the next year. There have been world champions who weren't in the tournament and things like that. Now, Takeshita's still holding the New Japan Television title. That may put him more likely to be in there, so got to kind of wait to see what happens when he faces Sonata at Dominion.
Marcus the Entertainer in chat gave his list of wrestlers he wants to see, and that is Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe, Brody King, Tommaso Ciampa, Swerve Strickland, Bandito, Kyle Fletcher as the wild card, and Mike Bailey, Speedball. You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that lineup.
All of them.
But you could take
good.
you could take 2 or 3 of those guys out and put 2 or 3 other guys in, and it's fantastic.
They could easily do a 16-man tournament on this.
Yeah, I mean, AEW's loaded on the men's side. It's simple as that. But on the women's side, it gets a little bit different because we have a 4-way championship match at Double or Nothing. Who's in that match? Tekla, obviously. Chris
Statlander, Statlander, and Jamie.
Right. So why it doesn't make sense to announce any of them in this tournament?
Well, it's real simple. I'm going to say all 3 of them are in the tournament, and if one of them wins the women's title, Tekla will take her place in the tournament.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But regardless of the Tekla and Statlander and Sheeta and Hayter, that would be, with just those 4 would put one side of the tournament. You still got 4 other women that you've got to add. Who would you add?
I think Mercedes Moné is going to be the wild card.
Okay.
Alex Windsor. You could add Mina and Harley Cameron.
Sure. You also have Sky Blue, Julia Hart that are viable.
Yeah.
Queen Aminata.
Yeah. I don't. The only things I'm going to say, I am certain this is going to happen, and if they don't, I'll admit I'm a moron. Mercedes Moné as the wild card, Statlander versus Sheeta in round 1, and whichever one of them loses that is doing the heel turn.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel confident about those 2 things.
Was it Jess or Valerie? I heard somebody pipe in, and Chris at the same time. Chris was, and there's Net. Hey, Net.
Wait. Hey,
Net!
hey.
It is Net.
Hi.
You must have just got home from work.
Yep.
Net, we're talking about who we think may be the participants in the. We've already talked about the men's side. We're talking about the women's side of the AEW Owen Hart championship. Just to give you an idea, and Marcus came by in the chat. Marcus, he made his list, and I see people on this list that we did not mention in our list so far. That would be Mercedes Moné as the wild card, so he agreed with what was going on there. Maya World, Marina Shafir, Queen Aminata, Sky Blue, Alex Windsor, Mina Shirakawa. Those last several we all mentioned, but one name, the last name is somebody that absolutely never came up. Shame on us. Shame on us. Megan Bain.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
You know, I almost mentioned her, but I'm like, I don't know if they'd want to put her in, and because if she's not winning, like right now, you've got it as where her and Lena Cross are just this dominant team. So like, I wonder if they would want to put her in if she's not going to win, or just be like, let's just continue their dominance.
Well, she could definitely be part of the storyline if she doesn't win on like ripping somebody's arm out of their shoulder or something like that. Making one of the women the Darby Allin of the women's division. Put it that way. You know, where she gets the snot beat out of her, but perseveres all the way to the end. You know, kind of thing. So there's several storylines that could be, you know, installed with Megan or Lena Cross. Either one of them, really. So, yeah. I mean, that's really good list, Marcus. Thank you. All right, but who do you guys think are going to be? And one of the things we've in our men's side, we've all kind of said in the past. I don't know if anybody's changed, but Will Ospreay's to lose. Who do you think is going to win the women's Owen Hart?
Mercedes.
Yeah. 2 years in a row. 2 years back to back.
Who did you say, Nat?
Queen Aminata.
Okay. Anybody else with any idea who they think was going to win the women's side?
Mina
Shirakawa, who you really think that she's not going to be a bridesmaid in this?
Yeah.
She may make it to the finals, but I don't think Mina's going to win anything in AEW.
I mean, that's why it'd be such a good pick. Nobody would see it coming. It'd be a huge surprise.
Unless the wild card was late in this thing, and in the wild card is Kairi Sane, and she had to fight Mina.
Ooh.
That would be fun. That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
I don't think it's even remotely possible, but it would be cool. Let's face it would be cool. So anyway, let's move on because we've got a world championship match. Any other time, this is probably going to be a wow, what's going to happen match. But it's Darby Allin versus Konosuke Takeshita. And I bring this up because we run a poll on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit. We have all these matches other than the women's trios match that we opened with because they announced that while we were on the show. But we have the next matches that we're going to be talking about here on the poll at the AEW Fan Hub subreddit. With the Darby Allin and Konosuke Takeshita match, I can tell you that the vote is very, very, very lopsided. Who do you think people are selecting to win this match, guys?
Darby Allin.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, if you didn't put Darby as the winner of this match, there's something wrong. As it is standing right now, 87.7% of the people who have voted have picked Darby Allin over Konosuke Takeshita. If this was any other week, if this was just a regular match or even just a non-title or not a world title pay-per-view match, not saying that you would pick Konosuke Takeshita over Darby Allin, but wouldn't you kind of agree that the vote would be a lot closer?
I
Yeah.
think it would almost be inverted.
Really? Okay.
I honestly, if this was not a title match, if Darby Allin was not the world champion and this was just happening on Dynamite as a match, I would absolutely pick Konosuke Takeshita to win, hands down, without a second thought.
Right.
Same
What about
here.
same? You feel the same way, Valerie?
Oh yeah. If it was Konosuke Takeshita versus Darby at a pay-per-view, I would put my money on Takeshita 100%. 100%. But now it's on TV. It's different.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not only that it's on TV, it's an AEW World Championship match. I mean, I'm talking about even if it was a non-title match on a pay-per-view or even a lesser title like a TNT title, I think it would be closer. I wouldn't necessarily expect Takeshita to be inverted. That's just my opinion over Darby Allin, but I think it would be a much closer vote than 87.7% voting for Darby.
well, yeah, it's just we kind of know Takeshita already had this match against Okada at Double or Nothing, the Darby versus MJF title rematch. It's going to happen. This is one of those you you know almost certainly who's going to come out of this with the win, but I still want to see the match. It's like, look, I don't. When I go to a freaking Avengers movie, I know the Avengers are going to win. I still want to see how they win. I still want to see all the cool stuff that happens in between. So, like, yes, the winner is predictable, but these two are fantastic, and they'll have a great match.
All right, well, here's something that I wanted to ask because originally this was supposed to be Kazuchika Okada. I'm sorry, Kazuchika Okada against Darby Allin, not Takeshita. But reportedly, this is not an angle. Okada had to go back to Japan for a family business thing. We're not going to speculate about that. That's disrespectful. But that's what was told on AEW TV, that it was he had to go back to Japan for family business, and reports are that it is legitimate that he is in Japan for family business. But even the dirt sheets said we're not going to say what it is. So originally, if it was Okada, I thought that Takeshita would probably interfere in a match and cause Okada to match. Now that it's Darby Allin and Takeshita, do you see anybody from the Don Callis family interfering in this match and causing Takeshita to match?
I think they can probably still find a way for Okada to interfere. Not physically, but with the distraction, and maybe he pays off like I don't know, like somebody not in the family, just a real scumbag type, not MJF scumbag, but like, yeah.
Yeah, we could hear a coin drop after a critical Blue Thunder bomb or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's good. That's true. By the way, Conrad, EPW shows in the chat, said hello, my friends, and also said don't trust Okada, which is probably very sound advice, Conrad.
Especially excited for this one because I will be in attendance.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool.
I think Konosuke Takeshita just fills losing it. But he fills that gap of the guys that push Darby to the limit.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see a clean fight, though. I don't want to see anybody interfering. That match's going to be a banger. If it's in the main
Absolutely.
event, it's gonna be awesome. But
Yeah,
I don't want to
they've all
see
been
anybody.
bangers. They've all been
Yeah,
bangers. This has
Yeah,
been a great series.
yeah.
Valerie, I hate to be the bringer of bad news, but it is the Don Callis family. I'm sure
I know.
it'll be a great match, but in the end, Darby's going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah,
And Takeshita's probably going to be pissed about it.
Probably, as
yeah.
well as Andrade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see some post-match shenanigans happening with this one.
This I don't mind, but not in the match. After I don't mind one bit. Not during the match.
Well, we'll see. Maybe even Ricochet hit Darby with a golf club. Who knows? But I've been very vociferous, and I'm not going to go into this very much, but I don't like the Darby Allin World Title run at all. The matches are great. The match with Takeshita is going to probably be a great match. The match with Pac was a great match. Absolutely pointless, but they were great matches. There was no point to having any of those matches.
I kind of disagree a little bit with you. I kind of disagree. I think that I understand that Darby's reign is not going to be long. I think we all agree, but I think that the legacy of Darby's reign is that he pushed other opponents to be world champion material, meaning now Takeshita, Kevin Knight, Brody King, and what was the first one? I forgot.
Ciampa.
Ciampa, yeah.
So I
all
say,
of them, but
kudos.
Valerie, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I say kudos to Darby to do that, and the legacy of his title reign is that he helped elevate other talent to world championship material.
And I 100% disagree with you. I think by losing to Darby Allin, everybody that has lost to Darby has been taken down a notch, not elevated at all. Now, here's the thing also I wanted to say, and this is one of the reasons why I feel the way I do. Darby Allin is one of maybe Serpentico maybe is smaller than Darby Allin, but Darby Allin is definitely one of the smallest people in the division. Him getting the snot beat out of him doesn't need to be done every week, twice a week. It doesn't, because he's going to get the snot beat out of him regardless, because he's at a disadvantage, kayfabe wise. He's at a disadvantage every time he gets in the ring, because everybody that's in the ring with him is bigger and stronger. Let's face it. And that's the story. This run would have been much more convincing to me if it had been Takeshita or someone of that like going out there and defending every week. In that case, Takeshita winning these matches after absolute brutal battles, that would elevate his challengers. But I absolutely disagree with you, Valerie. Everybody that Darby has beat thus far, Ciampa, Brody King, Pac, who else? Takeshita tomorrow night.
Kevin Knight.
Kevin Knight. They've all lost a little bit. They gain nothing from those matches, other than to say that they were on TV and had a good match on TV that they lost. They gained nothing from these matches.
This is where I kind of agree with both of you guys. This is the most Darby run that he could possibly make with this time. He doesn't just go for a hike. He climbs Mount Everest. He doesn't just ride a motorcycle. He does crazier things. But on the other hand, I don't exactly like the World Heavyweight Championship being defended almost like a mid-card championship.
Right. Exactly.
I appreciate the matches. They're amazing. But, that it has me a little torn. I think I'm siding a little more with enjoying it more than not, but I think it kind of it feels like a mid-card championship a little bit.
Yeah, we liken this, at least I did last week, to Orange Cassidy's international title run. However, the thing about the international title run that Orange Cassidy did is he really wasn't wrestling against world championship contenders twice a week. He was wrestling against a lot of mid-carders. Not saying they were all mid-carders, but a lot of them were mid-carders. Darby Allin is wrestling against world championship caliber contenders week in and week out, twice a week, really. And it's making the division weaker, in my opinion. As I said, it's making the men's division weaker.
If I may, I actually I agree with Valerie. I also think it works in a narrative sense because compare and contrast him with MJF, the champion who is the very image of what a champion should be, but does everything in his power to avoid defending his belt at all costs. Then compare Darby, who is smaller and scruffier, but is courageous enough to defend the belt against any comer at any opportunity. And I don't think his opponents lose a thing in losing because the matches are so dang good.
I'm not saying that the matches are not good, but the point is that if I was a booker, right, and I took my booking very, very seriously, I want to stress that very, very seriously, I would never book Brody King, Tommaso Ciampa, Kevin Knight, Konosuke Takeshita for a world championship title match for a long time. Why? You couldn't even beat Darby Allin. Come on. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
I still remain of the opinion that the size of a wrestler means little to nothing.
Agreed. Yeah, sorry.
I'm done. I'm good. Sorry.
Oh, but yeah, I completely agree. Like the size does not matter at all. I mean, people believed Rey Mysterio could beat up Kevin Nash. People believed that he could beat up Big Show. People believed he could beat these guys. Like Darby Allin wins not because he's the biggest or the strongest, but because he has the biggest freaking heart. The guy will not quit. He does not know the meaning of the word stop, and that's what drives him. And that's why no matter what is thrown at him, he's able to come out on top.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this at you. Okay, Chris? And I mean no disrespect. First of all, Rey Mysterio has been wrestling against these top tier talents for years. Darby Allin has not. That's first and foremost. Second of all, and again, this is my opinion, Darby Allin is nothing compared to Rey Mysterio Jr. Not even close. You're talking about a Hall of Famer against the mid-carder. And Darby Allin's mid-carder. I'm sorry. Rey Mysterio, in my opinion, is also a mid-carder. Maybe an upper mid-carder, but he's done the time. Darby Allin just hasn't, to me. I mean, and the other thing is that with Rey Mysterio and his work, he didn't just all of a sudden pop up and win a championship. Darby Allin did. In my opinion, Darby Allin came out of nowhere and won the championship. It's just not a good story to me. I'm sorry.
The multi-time TNT champion, who was also a tag team champion, who had been talking about wanting to go after the world title for months, had a number one contendership match on pay-per-view, and then struck while the iron was hot, came out of nowhere.
I absolutely, when I'm looking at world title resume, yes, he came out of nowhere. Darby Allin was a tag team champion as Sting's partner. Enough said. If Sting wasn't his partner, there's no way Darby Allin was a tag team champion. His TNT title runs were not great. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. I mean, come on. I like Darby. And I'm not saying this against Darby. I'm saying this against the booking that Darby has had. He kind of came out of nowhere to get this. I really do feel that.
Well, that is the thing we will just agree to disagree on.
Well, let me put it this way. 5 months ago, if I were to say, name me 10 people that are top contenders for the AEW Men's World Championship, I doubt if I posted that on all the subreddits and everything, I doubt that Darby Allin would have gotten 2% of the people, 2% of the mentions on everybody's list. That's what I mean. He came out of nowhere. He really did.
I think he would have been on a lot more people's list, but that's my opinion. Especially if you're saying top 10.
And I'm just saying,
he probably would have been like 8, 9, 10 on a lot of those lists. I'm not going to dispute that. But
see, and I'm going to say this to you, Chris. I don't even if you said not, who would you name all the top contenders, not restricted? Name all the top contenders for the AEW Men's World Championship. And if you said this like 6 or 7 months ago, I would think that you could have people making lists of 20 wrestlers and Darby Allin wouldn't be on them. And it has nothing to do with Darby's size. It has nothing to do with anything but Darby Allin was never booked to be a world champion. He's not. He's always been the guy that's going to get in these coffin matches and whatnot to defend himself from being, ridiculed as being a smaller guy and proving himself. But he's not a world champion. This right now, by far, is the worst world champion that AEW has had, in my opinion. There's zero interest in the matches, really, as far as worlds. I have interest in the matches as a match. This match tomorrow night, Konosuke Takeshita against Darby Allin, I look at it as a match. It's a farce as far as a world championship match.
Kelson, I have to tell you, I don't disagree with everything you're saying, but here in Seattle, Darby Allin is like a god to wrestling
I know
fans.
that.
So it depends on where you are. I think that people hold him extremely high on the wrestling radar, and I don't know. I think if you get outside of Seattle, it's not so much. I'm not that wild about him. I agree with you on him not being, a great wrestler per se. He's more of a daredevil to me. But, there are people here that love him.
But I didn't say he wasn't a great wrestler. I said that his story and his build and his booking did not in any way. My point is that if you were to ask 7 months ago, if you would have said, hey, 7 months ago, Darby Allin's going to be the world champion, people would have probably looked at you and said, are you nuts? I do want to go to chat because Marcus said, I completely disagree. Darby's TNT title run was excellent. Conrad also said about Darby, he's Foley or Jeff Hardy. Kind of both. And you could have said and or Jeff Hardy, Conrad, and I would have believed you too. So, but anybody else with a opinion on this matchup? All right. Well, then we're going to go to the next match, which is a pretty interesting match. Will Ospreay just got cleared. And so this is his first match back after being cleared after, about 2 weeks, maybe? He wasn't gone that long. But it's Will Ospreay against Ace Austin. This is an interesting matchup. Just so you know, looking at the polls on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit, 93.8% give the win to fill in the blanks, guys.
Will Ospreay.
Will Ospreay.
Ace
Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean,
Net, are you just being contrary or?
Yeah.
what did that say, Ace Austin?
Yeah.
See, Ned hasn't been with us for a while, and so we've gained a lot of listeners in the past several weeks, Ned.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are probably not familiar with you.
Oh.
that is a wise ass.
And what else?
Crazy.
I love who? Eddie Kingston. So
I'm telling you right
Me
now,
too.
when we were talking about the Owen Hart, if somebody had said Eddie Kingston, I was going to kick them off this podcast in 2 seconds. No, he is in Ring of Honor right now, where he belongs.
yeah, when we're done here, I have a fun story about something going on with Eddie Kingston.
I
So
can't wait to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Is it inappropriate to share here?
No, it's
Well,
not.
go ahead and tell it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
We can pretend that for 5 minutes, for however long, that Ace Austin is Eddie Kingston. We will get to Ace Austin and Will Ospreay. But go ahead and tell the story.
Okay. Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Oh, come on.
Wait, just 1 second. 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry. I was watching something about Ring of Honor, and I said, "Oh, there's Eddie Kingston. What's he doing over there?" Right? And I got all excited, but he is hanging out with Mance Warner. And those of you who maybe watch the Independents, watch GCW, you know who Mance Warner is. He's a really good wrestler, but he's also a maniac. Okay, and I saw him here in Seattle. GCW Defy put on a show like maybe last summerish, and I don't like Mance Warner, and he's always talking trash and flipping the audience off and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm like, what is he? When I saw him with Eddie Kingston, I'm like, oh no, here's the menace. But Mance Warner, the first time I saw him at Defy, I just nonstop booed him like religiously. And he noticed and he kept eyeballing me.
Let me interrupt you there.
Yeah.
Because when you said you booed him relentlessly, the first thing that popped into my mind was Mance Warner got pissed at Net. He singled her out because you are one of those people that just what's the word I'm looking for?
Antagonizing.
Yeah. So he came up on the stage where I was sitting and was wrestling, and he and I actually had a face-to-face argument. He called me a bitch, told me get the hell out. And I'm like, I was calling him a lot of derogatory names. We had a face-to-face confrontation, right? And then months and months later, he was at another show. I was sitting way up on the balcony, and when he came out, I started booing him. Boo, who is this loser? Who is this loser? He looks, because he can hear this voice, and points at me and says some derogatory things and that I need to be kicked out.
Well,
yeah, and it was basically like, get that fat so-and-so out of here.
Oh, man.
And I hate Mance Warner, and now he's hanging around with my friend Eddie Kingston. I don't know how I'm going to balance this.
He actually saved Eddie Kingston from attack on the most recent Ring of Honor.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I can't stand that guy.
Let's get back to Will Ospreay and Ace Austin. Nat, the only thing I'll say to you is that you are a wrestling Karen.
I'm a wrestling Karen.
And I mean that with all the love and respect. But
I know.
Sit on your ass and keep your mouth shut. You're pissing off the AEW stars. Okay.
Look, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Eddie is only palling around with Mance Warner because he doesn't know how bad he treated you.
I'm sure that's why. Once we tell Eddie, he'll leave him alone. I'm
sure our cases of getting Mance Warner on this show.
Yeah, so 93.8% of the people picked Will Ospreay to beat Ace Austin on AEW Dynamite.
You know what? much like
honestly,
the previous match, the winner might be predictable, but the match is going to be fun. These are both two tremendously talented wrestlers who know they're going to do some crazy crap in the ring. Like, predictable winner, fun match.
Ace Austin's fun, but he's still in that I'm paying my dues in AEW phase. So
exactly.
I think 90. How many people picked? I got to look. 4 people who are obviously high on something picked Ace Austin to beat Will Ospreay.
It was the Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah,
they're all on AEW Fan Hub subreddit. But again, I urge everybody that's listening, go on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit. Right at the top of the page has the AEW Dynamite poll. The poll closes, I think, like 1 hour before Dynamite ends tomorrow night. But 1 hour before it begins. After it ends, I mean, everybody would get the votes right if they voted it, prior to the show ending. But anyway, and Net, you can go and vote for Konosuke Takeshita, Ace Austin.
Oh, I'm gonna.
So just because
I'm going to use multiple IP addresses.
Over in the chat, Conrad said, "Good to see Ace Austin getting more opportunities," and Marcus, the entertainer, said, "Yeah, I'm in complete opposite of Kelson on Darby." No, you're not. Nobody's the complete opposite of me because I'm just too smart to be that wrong. Okay. And I'm good looking.
Okay.
I figured if I was going to lie about it, I might as well go all in.
There we go.
There we are.
Do you think that the Death Riders are going to come out and beat up Ace Austin after the match?
I hope not.
I think so.
I think I'd
Neil's
go.
gonna put a stop to it.
Yes, I think I'd go against Mox's training regimen. He's sort of letting Will fend for himself and prove himself.
Yeah.
Although, we have learned that if you have a neck injury, it can be fixed by having who was it, Yuta lay on your
Marina Shafir.
Oh, having Marina Shafir lay on the back of your neck. It will.
No, it was Yuta that was laying on.
Oh, it was Yuta too? Because I saw Marina with the towel and move his neck side to side.
Yeah, Marina Shafir was trying to break his neck and fixed it. So
Yuta was sort of laying backwards on
Dr. Wheeler
Will's neck.
he was doing neck bridges but pushing Yuta's weight back with his neck.
Yeah, who knew that Ospreay didn't need all that expensive time-consuming surgery? He just needed those two.
I'm gonna say, I just want to break in and say something here.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is weird, and it's Net's fault. We were very, very professional until Net showed up.
Until I showed up.
It's true. We were on the rails. Train was riding smooth. Net shows up and it's like, all right, hitting the brakes, speed, brake. We're off the fucking rails.
And of course we weren't using the F-bombs either to
I am so sorry. I didn't even realize I said it until after I said it.
Look, Nat, last week, Tunchi was literally crying. Remember Tunchi?
Oh my God.
Of course, you don't remember that because you were just bawling your eyes out.
He was so overcome with emotion.
It was very emotional last week.
Oh.
I don't remember what you were crying about.
It was a rough one.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a rough one. Anyway, let's move on because, frankly, we talked way too much about this match without talking about it at all. I mean, this was a great segment. Had nothing really to do with the match, but totally enjoyable. I love the segment. Speaking of matches that, this one's kind of weird, and even the AEW Fan Hub subreddit believes so too. Not many people are voting on this match. Just being totally honest with you, and I don't.
I just went and voted on the matches.
I can't see the. For some reason, I can't see the results, but I can tell you this: it's very close. I believe that FTR, the Dogs, and whoever
They
I
are
can't.
ahead 59.2% to 40.8% for Bucks
Yeah.
Cage.
Oh, it actually widened the gap because earlier it was. It's weird because I'm a moderator. I can't scroll the vote box.
Strange.
Yeah, so I can only see the first two. So I have to make another account and a non-moderator account just so I can scroll and see what the votes are. But anyway, yeah, if one other thing that you'll notice if you look at that is that a lot of people aren't voting on this match.
Yeah, it does have the fewest.
It has the fewest votes, which kind of tells me that people aren't interested in this match as much.
I'm not really sure what to make of it. I just looked at the picture like a dog who listens to a high-pitched noise. Like, I'm sure that everything makes sense on everything makes sense on paper with who's feuding with who, but just seeing this assemblage of people in the same match is like, okay.
Wait, who are the Young Bucks upset with? FTR?
FTR. They're well. The Young Bucks are upset with everybody. You know. They're
okay.
And Orange Cassidy, I have no idea why he's in this match. I mean,
because Tony Khan likes Orange Cassidy.
That's got to be the only explanation. Everybody else in this match have a thing going. Orange Cassidy is just like redheaded stepchild. Let me ask you a question. Okay, listen. This is the question. Double or nothing. Christian and Copeland are taking on FTR. Who is winning that match at Double or Nothing?
Cage and Cope.
Yes.
Cope. Does anybody think that FTR is going to win this match at Double or Nothing?
I sure hope not.
All right, so here's what's going to happen. Tomorrow night on this 10-man tag team, if Tony Khan keeps the script, which is very predictable, he does this every time, FTR are going to beat the living hell out of Christian and Copeland tomorrow night. Because that's what happens. The guy if the two teams face off during Dynamite Collision prior to a pay-per-view, the winner of the Dynamite Collision match always loses the pay-per-view match.
Tale as old as time.
So if FTR beats the crap out of Cage and Copeland tomorrow night, then we're going to have new tag team champions at Double or Nothing. If it's vice versa, there ain't a chance in hell that FTR is losing at Double or Nothing. Simple as that.
I just remembered why Orange Cassidy and Ciampa are there. The whole stipulation from last week, if they win tag title match, if Dax wins trios title match. That's why they're both there.
Oh.
Oh God, that's a
Dax
reach,
won,
man.
right?
That's a reach.
I don't know. That could be.
Didn't Dax steal the win
with the other? What does Ciampa have to do with that?
Didn't Dax steal the win last week?
Yeah.
So Ciampa and FTR will now get a 6-man tag title match.
That makes sense, I think.
That's why Ciampa and Orange Cassidy are in there.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Well, I got a question.
Okay, Val, go ahead. What is your question?
Since they're in Asheville, North Carolina, and is this the hometown of FTR, are they going to be cheered or are they going to be booed?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Very good question.
They probably will get a little bit of cheers when they come out, and then they'll get booed throughout the match. How's that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Do something to squander their cheap heat.
They'll get a little pop when they're introduced as being from there, but they'll be despicable enough in the match and probably cut some promo about how, there's a reason they live, in a secluded area, so they don't have to be around all those people that are in the arena.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to move on because we are running a little bit late tonight, and there's only one other segment on Dynamite, and that is we'll hear from MGF. So,
my scumbag.
Our scumbag, and Simply Split, if he's going to be there, maybe he gets involved in the Takeshita and Darby match, whereas, Okada probably would, Takeshita would have got involved if it was Okada, but since Okada's not there, kind of makes sense that MJF would be there to get involved in that match and make his presence known. Wouldn't you agree?
I can see that happen.
Yeah.
I think I know exactly what he's going to say. He's going to come out. He's going to say, "Cut my music." He's going to call the crowd disgusting pores, and then he's going to whine that Darby will not give him his belt back.
Yes. You kicked me in the nuts. You're a cheater. I want my belt. Will he agree to the hair versus belt match?
I think he's going to get tricked into agreeing somehow.
I agree. There's no way somebody as vain as him. Like, also that I have a question. Like, does he have like a movie role or something coming up that may involve him needing to shave his head?
Like he got doused with radioactive energy or something like that. Or had a bizarre electrolysis accident.
Or just like the character has a shaved head that he's playing.
I don't know.
In whatever movie.
You said he was going to come out there, and he was going to call people disgusting pores. I wonder if he's going to acknowledge the fact that so many people have made AI renders of him without hair.
Yeah, those are pretty funny.
He said he's never actually been to Turkey. I wonder if that's true.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
He also said Long
don't
Island
see
is
him
beautiful.
bald.
Obviously, he's a liar.
I don't know. Regardless, look, it is what it is. He's going to come out there and he's just going to be despicable. And he's probably going to get involved in the Darby Allin and Konosuke Takeshita fight. Would everybody kind of agree on that?
Yeah,
No.
probably.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Oh,
No, I hope not.
Well, I hope not too, but this is North Carolina. It's not Montreal.
Ooh.
it's too bad that Kenny probably won't be at the show, so Justin Roberts can't say North Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see him at Double or Nothing. So it's been a month. It's been a
There
month.
you go.
So
So Tunchi, you're going to be at the show tomorrow night.
I'll be there. I hope MJF calls me a poor. I'll be loud.
Well, you can always wear a shirt or carry a sign that says "poor,"
Disgusting poor.
or no, just make just "poor" so that he'll see it. And the thing is that you can misspell it, which will make him notice it more. Instead of "poor," you can put "poor" is POUR, and he'll look at you like, "You freaking moron! Look at this idiot! You're from Asheville, North Carolina."
Loses mind.
A Fruit of the Loom tee with Sharpie.
I was just going to say that. Just get an old white T-shirt and a black Sharpie. Yeah.
Oh God. But anyway, look, it's going to be a fun show tomorrow night. We do, as Chris alluded to earlier in the show, we do have our Discord. The link to the Discord will be in the description of this podcast, so you can look at it on YouTube or your favorite podcast provider. Just go into the AEW, what is it, live chat? TV live chat, I think is the name of the channel.
Yep, yep.
It's really active, and it's a lot of fun. People just cutting up and having a good time, as it should be.
No better place to be on a Wednesday night unless you're at the show.
Coming to you live from your mama's basement. There you go. Our live chat. What's that?
No, I'm just laughing at it. I love the ski mask. Well,
what was that wrestler's name? Nacho Grande? Is that what your persona was?
El Nacho Grande, yeah.
El Nacho Grande. Okay.
For a minute, I thought it was Claudio.
so I have to ask you, what's that on your shoulder? Is that sweat?
My shoulder.
Yeah, like on your chest and shoulders.
Oh, I think it's just I have a singlet on, like under the shirt. I would come out with the shirt and take it off. I think it's just the shadow of that.
And so the second question is, when you did that, did anybody in the crowd yell, "Put it back on, put it back on"?
Oh no, I made a big show of it. They loved it.
Okay, great. Were you ever unmasked while you were in the ring?
My mask did slip off one time, but it was never taken off.
Okay. And the final question is, did you ever wrestle the Invisible Man?
I did not. I had a training session with him, but we never got to have a match.
Okay. Well, at least I got to train with him. I hear he is a wonderful teacher. He's
a great wrestler.
Absolutely brilliant.
He motivates people to do things that they normally would not do.
Yeah, he's
just
fantastic.
watch out for Invisible Stan. I hear he's a real jerk.
Oh, he is. He's the worst.
Invisible.
He was acting as the crowd, heckling the whole time.
Yeah, he's not a nice guy.
and of course, tomorrow night. Oh, I don't have a graphic for this. I'll just put up a generic graphic. Tomorrow night, after AEW Dynamite goes up off the air, you can visit. I'm going to put this on the screen. EPW show at EPW show on YouTube. About 10 minutes after the show goes off the air, you can listen to Conrad and Derek do their AEW Dynamite review show. On the screen it says preview, but you kind of get the gist. It's a review show, a lot of fun. Please go over there and visit them and interact with them, because they will interact with you.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job.
They really do.
Recognizing the chat and calling out good comments and things like that. It's a really fun show. I
am extremely jealous of them for the interaction that they get. And if Conrad wasn't in our chat right now, I'd probably be breaking out in tears and telling everybody to boycott them, but I'm not going to do that. No, seriously. I love those guys. They're great. And they are our partners on the AEW Fan Hub, Everything Pro Wrestling podcast Discord server, which is called Everything Pro Wrestling Hub. See how clever we are? We combined both of them together and made
genius
one. Of course, somehow they got Everything Pro Wrestling, their entire word in there, and we got hub. And that is 100% my fault, because I'm just that giving of a guy. So Everything Pro Wrestling Hub Discord. And you can find it. Look, if you're following, whether you're following the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast or AEW Fan Hub, anywhere on their socials, you're going to find the Discord link. So, but it will be in the description of this show as well. So please join us, because it is a lot of fun over there, especially during our live chats. And it covers not only AEW, but it covers WWE, Lucha Libre, Joshi, TNA, NXT, Ring of Honor. We have a
New Japan, Noah, All Japan, all of them.
Yeah, we have we even have sections for food. Who has sections for food? We do. I don't know why, but we do.
We're just that great.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm Italian, and I still have. I never visit that section. They could be talking about murder there, and I would never know because I don't visit that section.
I've shared up a
Well,
few fun things I've made.
Yeah, if we arranged a Discord wide food fight, I'd probably go to that section. That would be where you do it.
well, I mean, it's all subjective. It could be a channel about murder if you're a vegan.
Oh, see, if I went in there and I saw a vegan post, I'd just start posting pictures of steaks at my grill. Because I'm older than MJF. He stole my gimmick. I'm a scumbag.
AEW is arguably a show about murder.
This is true.
They've had a whole bunch of kidnappings for sure.
Definitely. And it's funny when you think about it because everybody complains about the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, being just a place for bad faith posting and trolls. Have you heard wrestlers talking to each other? That's all they do is troll each other. It's part of the persona. It's what the IWC, it's what pro wrestling is about. Trolling people.
It's all crap talk.
It is. It is 100% a jerk. It really is. Pro wrestling's a jerk. That's all it is. And on that note, we will say goodbye. Visit us again on the AEW Fan Hub subreddit, the Everything Pro Wrestling Hub Discord, and on our socials. You can find Everything Pro Wrestling and AEW Fan Hub on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, OnlyFans, I guess. I'm sure Conrad has an OnlyFans. Don't you, Conrad? Is it under your real name or is it under Everything Pro Wrestling? I don't know. He's not. All of a sudden, he got quiet.
Mine is at El Nacho Grande.
El Nacho Grande. Conrad just says join our Discord. Not your OnlyFans. Okay. All right.
I'm only wearing the mask.
I will say this. Chris, I've seen your face. Thank you for wearing a mask.
You're welcome.
But if it's any consolation, you're still better looking than me. Anyway. We will be back with Ignition next Tuesday at 8:45 Eastern. Again, please be sure to check out at EPW show tomorrow night on YouTube for their AEW Dynamite review show. It's getting late, guys, and I put all my energy in getting the introduction right for the first time in this month. So yay me. And we'll see you Tuesday night.
Good night, Eddie
Goodbye,
Kingston.
Kenny.
Good night, everybody.
Matane.